Weekly Wheaties 2405. Restarting. Price hikes, future tech, prisoner's dilemma. Why restarting technology helps. For as long as I remember being referred to as a nerd or geek, pick your term or insert another, I've also been mocked for sharing the common reply to technology woes, "Have you restarted?" You have been asked that before, right? Yes, I know it's aggravating to be asked that from your friendly IT person. Yes, I know you may feel like it's demeaning sometimes. Yes, I know that it doesn't solve every problem. However, it is always the first step anyone worth their salt in an IT position would try. And there's a few very good reasons why. The main reason is very convoluted on the back end of things and may require a full understanding of computers and technology. But that would take much longer than what this post will share. On Reddit, there's a popular category of discussions called ELI5, which stands for Explain It Like I'm 5. This isn't meant to be demeaning, only to make the writer explain something in so simple of terms anyone could understand it regardless of their background. I want to try to give the ELI 10 version. It's a bit more involved and lengthy, but simple enough that I hope it helps make sense. I'd be remiss if I didn't say I also hope this gives some of my IT friends some help when coming into a situation. To start, I'd like to explain the basics of the language computers and other technology used to communicate. You may have even heard the term before, binary. The binary language is simply one that only has two characters, numbers, letters of the alphabet, or whatever concept you feel comfortable comparing. In this case, binary uses electricity to communicate in ones and zeros. An electronic board for any type of technology has wires called traces that move power from one place on the board to another. Put simply for our understanding, the electricity is stored in capacitors, lowered through resistors, and moved with transistors. A CPU or RAM within any computer-type device, phones, tablets, etc., does this millions of times every second. As you can imagine, these resistors, transistors, and capacitors are undergoing a lot of use and eventually go bad over time. This happens fairly often, but no worries, it's always expected, and there's literally millions of them, so it's not a big of an issue until computers age. And in this case, the aging of this hardware is always dependent on the quality of the components. It's safe to say that, generally, more expensive devices have more expensive components and last longer. This is essentially one of the main reasons computers go bad and/or get slow over time. So, as these components go bad or simply mess up, the paths of electricity get stopped in its tracks. Restarting a computer allows these paths of electricity to start over or find a new path to send the signals throughout the computer. Let's compare this to a crash on a road. If you've ever sat in traffic resulted from a crash, you know if and where an alternate route is. You can simply turn around or take the next exit to another path. However, others are doing the same thing, so things become slow, albeit faster than waiting behind the crash. After the vehicles involved are cleaned up, though, traffic may begin to subside and flow freely, assuming no other traffic issues. In the most basic sense, restarting a computer after it's been running slow clears up any traffic and puts things back to normal. Now, there are limitations to this comparison. If, after turning on your computer, you try to restart multiple times back-to-back with no luck and performance increase, there is a possibility the paths from your CPU to your RAM or hard drive have been damaged for long term. Again, especially as your computer ages. To be clear, sudden power outages, storms, flipping breakers, and in some cases holding the power button, can sometimes speed up the lifespan of certain components. That's why it's suggested to shut down electronics the proper way when able. This may also help explain why some electronics die during power outages. Many of the components simply became damaged beyond repair. A last reason to restart computers and other devices is simply due to updates and potential security threats. Your devices typically need to restart due to updates in the operating systems. A restart allows the new code to be put into effect. Every time a device powers off, all connections reset as well. This means anything connected through an internet connection or Bluetooth disconnects and must reconnect upon startup. If by happenstance your device was being tracked or hacked, disconnecting the signal will help deter the threat. A crazy example of this is brute force attacks towards passwords. Depending on the strength of your password, someone may only need to be connected to your device for less than a week to hack it. This is a good reason to restart all frequently used devices at least monthly, if not weekly. Have you restarted lately? In case you missed it, subscription price hikes. If you are a current subscriber to Amazon or Netflix, be prepared for a rise in your subscription price. Again, in a battle to be the best assistant for your smart home, Amazon is reported to be working on a paid version of Alexa Plus. The specifics are still being worked on, but it appears the current limitations and features will be included in the Plus version, while a more basic version will be available free. Following a price bump back in October 2023, it appears as if Netflix is planning another price hike while removing its cheapest ad-free plan. Based on their latest shareholder letter, it appears more revenue is coming in from the ad-supported versions, so it only makes sense to widen the gap between the high and low tiers by removing the middle one. The letter also indicates a push for more live and sports-adjacent programming, as witnessed by their deal with WWE. In case you missed it, future technology announced. Following the heels of CES, we've seen a few more announcements of promised concepts. I try to refrain from commenting too much on what the future holds in regard to technology, as it changes pretty rapidly, and the market can dictate which way it moves. While we've been wowed by concepts cars in the past, most of them never made it to the factory floor. It was reported Tesla plans to build new EVs mid-2025, but they haven't made an announcement on this new model, something they typically do years in advance. Bloomberg is reporting Apple is targeting 2028 for their car, but that the features have changed since inception. If history is any indication for them, their car will be announced and on the road all within a month. If virtual and augmented reality is your thing, the Omni One is available for pre-order. But before you purchase, it may be worth waiting to see if Disney's version ever comes to the consumer market. Lastly, bioengineers with neoplants have created a plant that purifies your air faster and better than nature. It's a little pricey for a plant at $179, but their tests show it filters more contaminants than most purifiers on the market. Pick of the week: The Prisoner's Dilemma Explained. For the lifetime of humanity, there have always been people bartering, disagreeing, and trying to get one over on each other. In video game theory, and business theory in some cases, a common problem many try to solve is referred to as the prisoner's dilemma. Ultimately, cooperation and being kind ends up paying off in the long run, especially for those you may have to work with more than once. If this sounds interesting to you, great. If not, well, you may just be someone who needs to watch it. Kidding. Enjoy The Prisoner's Dilemma Explained on YouTube. Weekly Wheaties is a reader-supported publication. To receive new posts and support my work, consider becoming a free or paid subscriber. See links for the above items at weeklywheaties.com.